But yeah, we're actually doing a very interesting thing at Roots Nutrition this Saturday. So we're actually going to have a age reversal challenge, if you will. I call it the art of longevity. If you think about it, most people don't realize that there's more people over the age of 50 in the United States than any other time in history. And every single day, more than 10,000 people turn 65. And now they're starting to have more health challenges. And because of those health challenges, the medical field calls these things age-related diseases. But it really has nothing to do with age, because most of these age-related diseases are challenges that people have. They really happen in their people's 20s. They happen in 20s and their 30s and their 40s and their 50s and over beyond. But of course, it shows up more in people that are 50 and over. But the same challenges happen. And so the thing is, do you say it's age-related, or do you say it's related because of people's lifestyle or behavior? So we think about what is aging anyway, if you think about it like that. Well, the medical field, I'm just diving right in because you guys can catch this later if you're not here. But if you think about it, what is aging? Well, the medical field says that aging is a decline in mitochondrial function. And the mitochondria are the energy producing cells in the body. And so if you think about it, you think of energy. I like to think of energy as an abundance of health. An abundance of energy is absolutely an abundance of health. And sickness and disease, by and large, is an energy crisis. So we have a lack of energy. And of course, the total absence of energy is called death. There is no energy. So most people are waxing and waning, or vacillating between some energy and no energy at all. But see, that doesn't just happen for people that are 50 and over. That happens for anyone at any age. There are people in their teens that don't have energy. And of course, in their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s. But so you wouldn't say this lack of energy is related to age, or it only happens to people 50 and over. No, this is happening to anyone on the planet. But if you think about it, so if they say, the medical field says that aging is a decline in mitochondrial function, what causes the mitochondria to decline? That's my question. And if the mitochondria are the energy producing cells in the body, what causes the energy to decline? Well, think about it. And you guys probably heard me talk about this before, but what I call the 5 factors of aging. And so as you get older, you lose muscular strength, you increase body fat, your lungs actually shrink. And we're going to go into a little more detail with this, but then your bones thin out and you lose your cardiac output, or really how much your heart can pump each time it pumps. Well, if aging is the decline in mitochondrial function and energy producing cells in mitochondria, that's the way we tell if it's working efficiently. What kind of energy do you have? If you're 50 and over, even younger than 50, what kind of energy do you have? So your mitochondria are on the decline as well. So what causes that decline? Well, we can say it's how we eat, how we live, the different challenges that we have. We can have stress. People can say it's a lot of different things like that. And of course, they do impact us. I was on the fire department 32 years. And when I expended a lot of energy, I needed to recover that energy. And of course, you eat food and it goes into the cells, and then those cells produce more energy. It's called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And so that energy comes back to the cells and we get invigorated. But the thing is, that energy can take place all the time. And what I'm trying to do is make the distinction between this age-related diseases and just diseases in your youth, because they're really one and the same. Think about it like this. Here's a good example. Diabetes. Diabetes used to be called juvenile diabetes and adult onset diabetes. Why? Because it took years into adulthood for the pancreas to lose its sufficiency, for the adrenal glands to do their jobs. But see, I don't say it's because of age. I like to say, well, these people have been on the planet longer to allow more waste to accumulate in the body. And not just in the body, but in the cells, tissues, and organs. So if the cells, tissues, and organs create more obstructions, occlusions, blockages, adhesions, and encumbrances, I like to call it constipation. Well, of course, they're going to have less energy. And while the medical field is trying to just relate it to aging, My thing is relating it to cellular inactivity. So think about it. As a person gets older, they say, well, I'm getting older, so I'm going to be less active. And my contention is being less active is what makes you older. And that's what it is. So think about people in their 20s and 30s and 40s. You know, you'll hear people saying, well, I'm turning the big 40. 40 is so young. I think of that as it's really young. I don't even want to say anything else about it. But in a 40-year-old's thinking, if they think the 40 is this big deal, then they think it's this threshold that they go across. And I don't know, maybe they think they start declining. And so they take this on mentally and emotionally and physically. And of course, the cells in your body are constantly eavesdropping on your internal dialogue and your external speech. So they're listening to you thinking and talking about being older now since you crossed this threshold of 40 years old. But I'm here to tell you that doesn't have to be that way. And that's what we're going to talk about on Saturday. We're going to be here Saturday at Roots Nutrition at 11. It's going to start at 11. You can come in. The doors will be open by 10:30. And we're going to talk about age reversal. We're going to talk about the art of longevity. We're going to talk about how to turn it around, how to get your mitochondria more efficient, not just bigger, but more efficient. And so think about it. Your cardiorespiratory system, that gives you longevity. The more efficient it is, the more longevity you have. The less efficient it is, the less longevity you have. But it's also muscular strength. But we're going to go into all of this on Saturday. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to have refreshments for you. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to have you be able to sign up, ask all your questions, and you'll see. I can guarantee you, by the end of this talk tomorrow, you're going to understand what aging is. You're going to understand what longevity is. You're going to understand why people die even faster at a certain things. And these age-related diseases is not just that. It doesn't just have to do with aging. It has to do with your lifestyle and what you're doing. So like I said before, you lose muscular strength. Why? Because you don't use your muscles. It's called sarcopenia. The only way you can lose your muscular strength is because you're not using your muscles. But not just that, you increase body fat. Well, why would you increase body fat? Because you're not using your muscles. You have more mitochondria in the skeletal muscles. And if you're not using them, think of them as the mitochondria as furnaces. The more furnaces you have, the more food and fuel you can burn up. So think about it. If you have more furnaces, you say you have a higher metabolism. Metabolism just means change. You're going to take this fuel and change it to energy. And if that energy changing system declines, you're not going to have much energy and you can eat food and it still doesn't do you any good because you're not using those skeletal muscles, which is going to cause you to increase body fat. But then your lungs shrink. So if you're going to be active, you can lose 20% of your lung capacity by the time you're 40 years old. Literally 20%. But you can lose 40% by the time you're 70 if you're not deliberately creating an oxygen debt. If you're not deliberately getting out of breath, you can lose 40% of your lung capacity by the time you're 70. But do you know what? You can actually lose even more than that if you're sitting. If you sit, in other words, like if you drive from Moreno Valley to LA every day and then sit at your desk for 8 hours or so and then drive back to Moreno Valley, you know how long you've been sitting? But then when you get home, you say, oh my gosh, I've been working all day. So I'm going to sit and eat a meal and then Netflix and chill for the rest of the night. And now you do that the entire week. And then you say, well, I've been working all week, so I got to rest. You see how much inactivity you can have in a week? And now that gets compounded week after week after week, month after month. And you wonder why you don't have energy. I just spoke to a lady the other day. She's been retired a year. And she was wondering why she can't breathe as she can. She doesn't have the strength that she used to have. But the thing is, she's been retired a year. So what does that tell me? That means she's been more and more inactive for that entire year. And so, let me get rid of that. And so now she told me that when she has groceries, she lives on the second floor. She takes 3 steps and has to stop and rest and catch her breath and settle in. And then take another 3 steps and stop and rest and catch her breath. And she has to do that all the way up to the top, just to the second floor. And she's been retired 1 year. That's why when people retire, things happen faster. It's all because of inactivity, not because of retirement. I've been in retirement. I've been retired from the fire department 14 years ago. I'm not about to stop. Movement is life. With no movement, there's no improvement. And the thing is, we start to decline because we stop moving. But we're going to get into that across the board. Like I said, I just wanted to bring you guys in. I'll probably do another live tomorrow just to remind you. And maybe
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Shoot, what is this thing trying to do? Excuse me. There we go. I had to get rid of that. So my computer thinks I'm asking it a question. So you can get your questions together. You can come here. You're going to get them all answered on Saturday. Like I said, we're going to have refreshments. We're going to have giveaways. You're actually going to have a treat that I'm going to surprise you with. But I want you to understand that this decline in mitochondrial function, this decline in your muscular strength, the addition of body fat, your lungs shrinking, like I said, your bones even thin out. Why do people get humped over as they get older? Because their bones thin out. They don't have enough calcium and magnesium, and they don't get it absorbed. Even if they take calcium supplements, they're made in the laboratory, so it doesn't do you any good. I'm going to show you the fastest way to increase your bone density, the fastest way to increase your muscular strength, the fastest way to get rid of that body fat, the fastest way to increase your tidal volume or your lung capacity, and the fastest way to create your cardiac output or how much your heart can pump each time it pumps. It's easy. It's easy. It's simple. It's to the point. I'm going to show you how you can do it in minutes a day. That's what we're going to talk about. So I hope you join me on Saturday at 11 o'clock. Doors will be open at 10:30. Come in to see how I'm going to challenge you to improve your life in just a short period of time, and literally in minutes a day. So, hey, look, this is Dr. Romeo. If you don't know where Roots Nutrition is, we're at 1210 North La Brea Avenue in Inglewood, California. 1210 North La Brea Avenue. And there's a big sign that says Roots Nutrition and Fitness Studio. You can also call us tomorrow between 11 and 6. It's at 310-419-0835. That's 310-419-0835. So like I said, write your questions down, put them in your phone and bring them. And I'm going to show you how you can turn not just your life around, but maybe your parents' life around, your uncle, your aunt, whoever it might be, anyone that you know is starting to get older and over. That's over 40 or 50 and in 65. But we're going to tell you all the challenges that these people face. I tell you, in 32 years on the fire department, I've seen it over and over and over again. And now we know how to take care of it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Get your questions. See you tomorrow.